Hello and welcome to Citation Sloth. On this channel, we go over media, political figures, and other sources of information and check their citations and make sure they're using the information given in proper context. Okay, in today's video, I'll be starting a new series called Prager Bites. These will be bite-sized portions of Prager U videos and checking their citations and showing how and if they're being dishonest. Okay, let's get started.
From left-wing Democrat to right-wing Republican, everyone loves infrastructure. We all want safe bridges, smooth roads, and world-class airports. So why can't we have them? Why are America's bridges falling down, our roads riddled with potholes, and many of our major airports dilapidated? Why can't the United States build or repair infrastructure like European and Asian countries do? The answer is not complex. America doesn't have better infrastructure because of two groups: environmental activists and labor unions.
Okay, at this point, he's setting up his targets, trying to present the two people he's going to go after in the video. We'll be hitting citations right now. If you go to his main page, you can hit his facts and sources and show us all citations. And not all the citations, but some of the citations, and then we'll be checking these out. The first two you'll notice here is the number of bridges and the number of years saying that it would take to repair these bridges. We'll check out these sources right now. If you go to the first one, or if you go to the second one, you end up at this source, which takes you to this source as its primary source. I don't know why they would have an intermediate source when this is the main source and it's one click away. Anyways, if you start here, you notice the decline was about 0.4%. That declined down to 0.2, then 0.1%. If you also notice, the number they gave was 37 years. Actually seems that it's 80 years now, according to new data, between 2017 and 2018. It may be that he didn't get this information because he wrote this in 2018 of January, or January 2018. So I guess he might have a valid argument there. Not for the number. I mean, not for the amount, but for the number of years it would take to repair all of them. Again, let's get back to the video and see what else they say. The source that he cites actually says the reason for this is not because of unions and environmentalists, but because of funding decreases. Even states right here that the amount of repairs have decreased about 60 to 75%. It's a pretty bad situation. Okay, now let's check out the rest of their arguments.
What has happened to the Keystone XL pipeline, a project to bring oil from Canada to refineries in the U.S., is a typical example. According to environmental groups, this vital piece of infrastructure is a guaranteed disaster. Never mind that pipelines are, by all measures, a much safer way to transport oil than rail cars. Say the words fossil fuel, and the Greens are against it.
Okay, he doesn't quite provide citations for that, but I think he means that the fact that the per unit of oil transferred, less damage is done or less lives are lost. But either way, he doesn't provide sources for that exact claim, so I can't quite confirm or deny what he's saying. Again, I can't check a source that he's not providing, so I could go and look for sources, but I'm trying to focus on their sources as well. Okay, we're going to go to the next part of the video.
In November 2018, in the U.S. District Court of Montana, Judge Brian Morris, an Obama appointee, halted Keystone's construction for the third time. The first final environmental review approving construction was released by Hillary Clinton's State Department in 2011. It concluded that the environmental impact would not be significant. A second final environmental review also approved the project. It was released in 2014 by John Kerry's State Department and also foresaw little environmental impact. Judge Morris's third review may be the charm for the Greens. At this point, a full decade into the process, it's hard to see the pipeline ever being completed.
Okay, here he points out the fact that it was blocked 3 times and then points out 2 reviews that approved it. Again, those reviews obviously aren't blocked if they approve the process. What we should be checking out is the judge that he mentioned, Brian Morris, and why it was prevented. It seems that it was also a big issue with the indigenous people and improper paperwork that was filed for the work being done. It's not really a valid argument for him to say that it's just environmentalist when it's going over native land, and the natives do have the right to argue against something that they do not want. Even if we say the risks are low, it's their decision since it's their land. and they have to be properly compensated, and protests should erupt if they feel that the risk is more than they are willing to take. That's their right. All right, let's get back in. Again, any source that I put up will be in my description. You can check them out yourself and decide if I'm lying to you, and if I am, just call me a cunt.
Keystone is a case study of what Brookings Institute.
I'll be skip over this part real quick because this is a discussion on the number of papers that were done. Doesn't really discuss if they are bad or good. Just says there's a lot of papers that are being done, therefore bad.
A routine dredging project in Oakland Harbor, begun in the 1970s, wasn't completed until the mid-1990s because of legal and environmental challenges.
Okay, so an issue here is the fact that he's saying that it's legal and environmental challenges, but not discussing what the challenges were. We'll head to those right now. Again, using his source, you find that while they were legal and environmental challenges, he's kind of misstating the situation that was involved. He has no discussion of the fact that it's actually affecting fishermen and their livelihoods, which, it's a fair argument. If something's affecting your livelihood and preventing you from doing your work, I do feel that you should be able to argue. We can go down here and show that the fishermen were talking about how their food web was deteriorating. And then this was again argued with by the, and again, this is not fishermen for this part. This was a National Marine Fisheries Service did a draft opinion review on it and determined that was an issue. And I don't want this stuff. I'm just here for citations. I don't need whatever that was. Okay, let's keep going.
4 such challenges gummed up a water desalination plant urgently needed in dry San Diego. That process started in 2003 and was needlessly delayed for 12 years.
Okay, let's check that out real quick. If you go to his, again, these are all going to be about their sources with slight discussion otherwise. If you go here, you notice that this was approved. Oh, one big issue is the fact that this actually was completed. This paper was written in 2010, and his discussion goes up to 2015, and that was detrimental considering this paper says it should have been done in 2012. And if you were to use that in a research paper and they caught onto that, it would be considered dishonest, and you'd probably lose points for that. Just saying. It's not a proper representation for his arguments considering the dates. But to be fair, this was actually a paper that was done, and they were discussing the fact that environmentalists did delay this, but they also actually praised the environmentalists for it because of the fact in the end, or after the end of the process, it proved that you can actually get the work done with environmentalists checking over what needs to be done and doing the proper paperwork. So it's not quite an argument against them unless you want to, blame them, portray them in a negative manner all the time. What we'll be getting to now is the last argument I'll be going over in this video. I'll start up right now.
Simply raising New Jersey's Bayonne Bridge roadway a bit to allow taller ships through, a move that had almost no environmental impact since it was merely an adjustment of an already built site, proceeded only after 5 years of review and 20,000 pages of environmental studies.
Okay, here's the issue here. He claims it has no environmental impact. Let's go to, again, his source. His source actually says that the environmental groups were worried about traffic congestion because of the increased construction in commerce, as well as the fact that the environmental groups were talking about the local health of the people who lived in the area. Now, claiming environmentalists were worried about the environmental aspect of it kind of infers that he means the ground and the water and everything around them, when they actually had a fair argument saying that no, the traffic congestion and the local pollution done from this could cause an issue, and that's a fair argument. I don't know how he's trying to present it as a negative thing when it was a fair discussion that needed to be worried about. Anyways, this is your citation sloth signing out. Hope you guys take care. There'll be some citations below, also including research you can do for desalination, the damage that might do, as well as the other problems seen here. Take care. Have a good day. If you like citations and want to make sure you're getting proper citations, I recommend Potholer 54, who's way better than I'll ever be.